What's up guys, Wraec here with a new video, and today we have to talk about the newest change DH just implemented. This is already live in the game, and probably I reckon a few of you have already noticed it. I would say without further ado, let's read through it. It's just like really 2 sentences, but there is a whole lot that this drags behind it, and then a lot of you might not like the consequences it has. Okay, so this is a message by Alia on the Discord for Idle Heroes, the official Idle Heroes Discord. I think it's also linked in game. It will be linked in a pinned comment for a reason we will come further down the line, and it says update July 4th 2025, which is today, the day of recording, probably also the day we post this. And it says first, Starry gem gifting and Starry gems obtained by selling hero copies in the auction house will be adjusted to Prism Starry gems. And then second, the credit rating has optimized the calculation method for converting Prism Starry gems into Starry gems. So 2 small sentences, 2 very small changes, none of which really gameplay oriented, but so much that will happen here. First of all, let me show you what this means. So of course we have multiple kinds of Starry gems in the game. The most common one and the one that you really want is Starry gems. The regular Starry gem that gets displayed like everywhere in the game that we see right there with the symbol, with the little energy rays I guess around it. This is the Starry gem. This is the best way, the best in-game currency that we have. You can use it in the auction house to buy copies. You can use it for value packages. You can use it for pretty much everything. It is the freest form of Starry gem. Then we have Contract Starry and the Bound Starry gems that have different little limitations. And then there is one form of Starry gem that many people have already forgotten because it is not really that common unless you get it from an event. It's called Prism Starry gem, and that is actually the Starry gem form that is sold by DH Games. DH Games does no longer sell Starry gems. They used to do that at the beginning when they were released. They used to sell Starry gems. Now DH Games, when we check out the shop right here, they say Starry gem purchase, but really you get the pink Starry, and the pink Starry is a little different from the regular Starry. The pink Starry can be used quite in the same manner as Contract Starry, so you are able to, for example, go ahead and buy something in the Starry gem mall with pink Starry. You are able to buy value packages with it, but what you are not able to do is you're unable to go into the auction house and buy yourself a copy with it. It can't be, cannot be used to buy anything in the auction house, and neither can it be used to be gifted to a friend. So if you have a friend and you have, like, let's say 2,000 of this pink Starry and you have it maybe from an event or something, you are unable to give that to your friend. That is not possible. The only way you can do this is by clicking this wonderful button here, which brings you to this menu. This is the Starry Gem Exchange. The Starry Gem Exchange allows you to convert pink Starry to regular Starry gems at a rate of 1:1. So one pink Starry converts to 1 regular Starry. But you can already see there is exchange permit left, and this exchange permit is based on a so-called credit rating system. This credit rating system is different from every single player. Right now I'm at a credit rating of 20. I don't think I've seen a higher one. And I can convert 26,000 pink Starry a day to regular Starry. For other accounts that are less cultivated, amounts up to, or down to, we should say, 0 are possible. You can have a permit cap of 0, which means you can't convert any pink Starry to regular Starry, especially on lowly developed accounts with little heroes, little transactions in the game. It is rather common that you have a low credit rating. I remember on the Amazon server we had the credit rating that allowed us for the longest time to convert, I think, 50 pink Starry to Starry gems. This is of course rather limiting. If we just go ahead and we sort by awakened tier, and you want to buy, let's say, this wonderful LFA copy here, 500,000 Starry gems would be needed for that. If you were to buy that in game and you wanted to convert it, even with my credit rating, that would take you about 20 days. makes it rather annoying to buy it. You can already see right now that even with my credit rating, I would be unable to buy this copy, because in no way, shape or form would I be able to get enough Starry gems in time. No matter how much money I spent in game, my maximum conversion rate per day is 26,000. I have 2 days left on this, so I could get 52,000. Wouldn't bring me even close to the amount of SG that I would need to actually get to this point. So this is the little bit of the curse of the pink Starry. So, and now we have the change. The change was just implemented today. It was announced today and implemented at the same time. And it really, there was no time difference there. You went in game and then just there was the update, and congratulations, it's now in game. There was no discussion, there were no questions, there was nothing in there. What this basically does is, usually when you sell a copy on the auction house, when you list it here and then it sells, you get your Starry gems, and you get them as regular Starry gems. So this is the Sylvie, for example, that we sold. In fact, it's kind of an interesting thing because they changed the picture. It sold for a little bit less than I thought, which was fine. I was happy to sell it for this month. Sold for 19,500 Starry gems, with a commission fee of 975 Starry gems. So DH already takes 5% of the amount that you would get right away, so you only get 95%. And now you can already see the change. This is in fact a lie. This was an old sale, so we got Starry gems, but now you get pink Starry, which means to use that back in the auction house or to gift it to a friend, you will now have to convert it once again. And this is of course rather annoying, especially for a beginner or something that just sold the copy and wants to use the Starry gem again to maybe buy something else. Just say you want to go and switch your account from LFA to DTV, and you want to buy another copy. You have an A- copy, sell that, you have to reconvert, and then suddenly you find yourself in a situation where you have to spend 40 days essentially converting. And yeah, that is rather bad. Gifting is the same. So if you now receive any gifted Starry gems, so not pink Starry, gifted Starry gems, it will arrive on your account as pink Starry, so no longer as Starry gems. And of course it was rather popular to buy Starry gems on black market. This is intended by them to actually fight against black market. They said so in unofficial chats, and they want to make it very, very complicated to get Starry gems from the black market. They want to make farming Starry gems very complicated. And to an extent, that is certainly natural. I mean, as a company, and DH Games, I mean, it is certainly a company, wants to optimize their profits. And that is something we have talked about in multiple videos. I have in fact gone ahead and made multiple videos about DH fighting farmers. We had multiple attempts in the persuasion of this. Pink Starry was actually one of the first. It was not really, well, we can't really say it was intended to fight farmers. It was intended for an entirely different subject, and maybe we should throw this in here as well. Pink Starry wasn't in the game initially. Pink Starry wasn't in the game, and this turned out to be kind of a problem for DH Games, because what people then used to do was they would make an account, a new account, and just get it far enough so that it's in the auction house, which is not a long time that you have to play, and then they would go ahead and they would buy Starry gems. At this time, Starry gems were fairly expensive. We were talking even on like black market areas from like 80 to 90 USD per 2,500, so pretty close to the H price, just a little bit cheaper. And then they would buy Starry gems, buy Starry gems, buy Starry gems till they had like a very decent amount, 20, 30k or something, and then they would sell it to another player very quickly, send it to them, and then refund the purchases, which would lead to, well, the person that received the Starry gems being screwed over, because, well, the H would just deduct that from their account. The account that they used for this refund stuff would obviously be banned, but at that point, this refund scammer, they were called, would already have their money, so they would be set. Of course, that would be a crime, but, well, with global stuff, that's always a little bit complicated. If this dude sits in some third world country, you can't really do anything, so that's a thing. And that was also a problem for DH. The reason that they introduced the Prism Starry gem wasn't because of some form of kind-heartedness towards the players. Maybe in the slight sense that was also played the role. I mean, they also don't want to lose players to this, rather annoying. But the thing is, you get problems with your payment provider. So if you go to Visa, MasterCard, all of this, and they see, oh, there are a ton of refunds for you, they go ahead and they might just cancel you as a partner, and then you can't offer those payment methods anymore. And Google might say, well, you have 20,000 refunds there, what's going on? And you don't want that trouble. You want to keep your payment intact, you want all of this, so they had to introduce the pink Starry, and this is a bane on the age. They don't want the pink Starry, they really do not want this, because the pink Starry is really annoying for them. It is really bad. It is just a disadvantage compared to the black market, because the black market up until yesterday could just send you regular Starry gems, and for many players, especially with the lower credit rating, that is a big advantage. Keep in mind, for example, let's say you are a whale. You get on the new server. There is a big game around going on the new server and just playing there and just fighting for the top spots and doing a little bit of a competitive race on that server. Has a long-standing tradition in Idle Heroes. And of course, on such an account, Starry gems are a big advantage because you start off with a low credit rating. If I made a second account, which I actually have, we can actually check this out for a second. Okay, this is my alt account. Does it have the auction house? It does have the auction house, I just can't use it. Okay, do we have a credit rating? Our credit rating is 1 and it is 0. So this is on the same account. This is on the Wraec account. It's my server 997 account. Don't ask me, I have no idea. I just have that. Now it's level 37, so that's cool. And yeah, we never really done anything here. But the thing is, you can see like the conversion rate is 0. If I was now on this account and I would have cleared this AFK stage, for example, then well, it would be really cool to just be able to get an A tier for my hero. Maybe for Eloise if I was a big whale, or at least for my first Transcendence hero. That would be really sick. And of course, if I went ahead and did that, my god, this account is bad. Then I would have a big advantage. But you can't really do that anymore. Even this fun spending, this fun little thing of just doing a little bit of a project and making like a little bit of a race on the new server with the meme account doesn't really work anymore. And for such players, it is obviously very advantageous that they could go to a black market seller and just say, okay, please send me Starry gems, and they would get Starry gems. So the black market sellers had a competitive advantage over DH games in that sense. Small experiment, let's see if I can collab with myself. Doesn't exist. My invitation code. Oh wait, this could be a problem. Applied. So I can collab with myself. That's cool. Yep, seems to work. Let's see. Yes. Cool, I'm in a bond with myself. Love it. Well, so beyond that, the H has now well gone ahead and fixed that in that sense. So this competitive advantage is gone. Now you will receive pink Starry. Is that bad? Well, receiving the pink Starry for the buyer is most cases not too bad. For the in the example, of course, that we just stated, with a non-established account on a newer server, well, you don't have the credit rating and it really sucks. So there I can see a problem. Or for a player, and for example, some of the great copies sold that on the auction house and received 50,000 or something Starry gems and wants to send this to somebody or sell it. In that situation, it sucks too, because now they have to wait months and months to convert all of this. But for the most players that receive Starry gems, let's say on an account that is half as big as mine, even if you have 13k, okay, you can no longer receive 200k, immediately use it. But then you wait like 15 days and then you can use it. So in that sense, that would still work. The bigger problem is from the seller side. And for that, we kind of have to take a look behind the curtain that I will now enable you to do. And you have to trust me on that, because it's kind of hard to show anything and any proof for the stuff that I'm going to tell you. Got resources, that is cool. So when you go to a site like SG Hub, which is a great idea if you want to buy Starry gems, at least it was until yesterday, and you say, dear Wraec, dear farmer, dear anybody, I want to buy 50,000 Starry gems. Then some players do have the idea that what the process that starts is, well, he has some account somewhere that sold an S tier, and from that account we can now send 50k. Usually that is not quite the case. The area where most of these Starry gems really come from is mostly like this. Those copies over here, those are really the copies that allow you to get Starry gems. If you, for example, buy something like this, which I just now won't, because no Starry gems are stupid expensive and the market hasn't adjusted to that. And then likelihood is pretty high that it will say something like it's farm account 307 in some cases. Some accounts are named like this. We see this here, for example, which now I deeply regret those purchases, by the way. And some accounts are named like this, some accounts have normal names in their farm accounts, some Vietnamese farmers, so mostly I think, they had those huge stacks of accounts, which the age pretty quickly banned, I think, with like 200 accounts on the same account. So like you can have accounts on different servers, so they had like accounts on 200 servers on like one account, which is absolutely crazy, and the age catched those pretty quickly, but those always had numbers at the end. I think we saw those for some time there. And then and those copies are really the ones that make the money. The thing is, of course, then you don't necessarily have 50k on that account. At least not if you have an older account, maybe. You could have an older account that just sold so many C tiers that in the end it was 50k. Likelihood is you don't. Likelihood is you have like an account maybe with 10k, one with 15k, another one with 25k maybe. Let's say it like this. And then you have 3 accounts and you combine those in the end to get to the 50k. So then a process of gifting starts where one account gives to the other, that account then gifts to the next one, and with a few losses, because there is like the cost of gifting is 5% once again, so you lose 5% of the gifting amount when you gift it to somebody else. So if I wanted to gift somebody 10,000 Starry Gems, I would have to send 10,500 Starry Gems, 500 for DH Games and 10,000 for the person that I gift to. And in that regard, you now have another problem on the chain. So usually the gifting processes, so one account to another, that account to another, that account to the customer. So there are at least 3 times gifting in there. 1 is to the customer, 2 are between the accounts. To make this process work, what would now have to happen is that account number 1 gifts to 2, account number 2 doesn't receive Starry Gems anymore, instead receives pink Starry Gems now, and then would have to convert that to Starry Gems again, and then could send it to account number 3, which would have to do the same and convert the bigger amount that you now received to Starry Gems again, and then could send to the customer. And now every single one of those accounts would have to have sufficient credit rating for this. But even if you just have, let's say, 15,000 Starry Gems, even that, and if you have not the smallest account, but an account that is like, has a few transcendency rolls, has a little bit of that, even at that point, you're talking about probably at least 10 days of conversion. So now you see the problem. Essentially, what that would result in is that the offer of Starry Gems on the market will dwindle quite a lot. There will be way less Starry Gems offered on the market, and this has a problem. This kind of results in different problems. Well, less Starry Gems offered mean that prices will likely go up because of all the extra cost, of all the extra steps of preparing bundles in advance, which was likely going to be a thing if this all continues in the same way. And prices are going to go up, and prices are going to go up massively, because we also then need accounts that have higher conversion rates for bigger sales, so this will be even more complicated. And in the end, the current expectation, and you have to very, very grab tightly to your chair, otherwise this might blow you away. The current expectation is that the Starry Gem prices are going to increase from currently, 20 USD per 2,500 SG if you buy around 20k, and like 16 if you buy around 100,000, to 50 to 60 plus USD per 2,500. So around tripling the prices, even more at the lower end when you bought more. So prices where we see 13 or 14, which some people got when they bought huge amounts, those will likely no longer be a thing when we are talking about maybe 43, maybe 44 USD per 2,500. If we get the process going again of like being able to send the Starry Gems and being able to farm everything and being able to have the conversions, which will be which will take much more time. So the thing of you being able to go into the game and just saying, hey, I want to have like my, I want to have my A- LFA finally, and I want to go ahead and kind of get this now for my account, and I buy myself 20,000 Starry Gems, and I pay 160 USD and get myself my A- LFA. Maybe I also have like a little bit for an extra copy, and for the next event I can have a lot of fun too. And this will no longer be a thing. What might be a thing, and this is maybe a little bit on the upside, is that you might be able that we might be able to do lower, smaller amounts, which was another thing we always said, like minimum 20k. But with those prices, maybe we can do like 5k, 7.5k. This is maybe possible, but this won't really carry you as far, which is again rather annoying. This is like one aspect to it, that the farmers are hit very, very much so by it. And I mean, you can be on two sides for this, I reckon, because not everybody likes Starry Gem farmers, and I guess, okay, yeah, can be fine. I always argued in the videos that the game profits more from Starry Gem farmers, so everybody but the Age really profits in that sense. The Age kind of moved themselves in a position where the black market is always going to be a thing. It is something that must exist for idle heroes to exist. Because people, I doubt many of the big whales are willing to say, hey, I usually bought my Starry Gems for $12 per 2,500. And I will just go ahead and let me buy this wonderful pink Starry you have here for 100 USD per 2,500. That is a great deal. I love that. Yeah, I doubt it. So they're kicking against the knee of the players that pay for it. And one major argument that always like comes around is, if you have a big event, what is the structure of the event? The structure of the event, when they released Starry Gems, that was like the initial take they had, was that they kind of did a 50-50 between like value packages and Starry Gems, nearly 50-50 we should say, because it's 3 and 2, and usually they just said, okay, we are going to put like we're going to put a little bit of money here, so you're going to buy 3 of those, and then you buy the 2 of those, and that is maxing an event essentially. Maybe there is an event pack, maybe there's like a pack for 50 USD that you can buy as well, and then you have maxed the event. And essentially, I mean, this would work out. This would work out to like 700 USD roughly cost with in-game purchase Starry Gems, and this was like the take they did. The way they do it now is a little bit different if you go back in mind to the big events, and I can't really show you that very well now. The way they do this now is they have the relays. The relays include a ton of the cost of events. So right here, for example, we have it in the preview for the anniversary relay, where every single stage has a price. They don't say the price right here, but every single stage has a price. And towards the end, you get to those bigger packs, which then cost like 100 USD each, and then you can spend 400 USD on like a relay, with the main difference being relay never offers you the option to buy it for contract Starry. Contract Starry for DH games was the same thing as money essentially when they first released it. Now it is second class. It does not allow you to buy relays. It does no longer allow you to buy any event packs, really, essentially like the big event packs, and then it allows you to buy a small amount of the event packs that are there in the value package section. Only those right here are available to be purchased by it, and this is very, very limited by the Age. And the process that has taken place is that the events that were 50-50 contract Starry and normal money at the release of Starry Gems went to being mainly normal money. The cost of the event is completely in the normal money. They say like, okay, this still costs 700 USD, you still pay 700 USD, and then we just expect that you have the contract Starry somehow. So the contract Starry is on top of all of the existing money. If you now go ahead, of course, and say, well, we kind of destroy the black market, and the prices of Starry Gems go up, the prices of those contract Starry packs will also go up, because they will be more expensive to do, and this on 2 levels probably. The first level, of course, being the Starry Gems that you get to buy those, and you usually don't buy them directly, you go into the auction house and buy yourself some C tiers. Those go up, those become more expensive. And by this, you also have an increased cost on every single event, which players in general don't take well to. They don't like that. They don't appreciate if something like this happens. So usually when players don't appreciate something, they purchase less. May it be that they take a look at, let's say, Null's event analysis and then decide, okay, maybe I don't need the 500 USD option. Maybe the 300 USD one is enough. Maybe there is a high value deal like at the start, and suddenly you push maybe a mid spender to be a low spender, or something like this, or some form of it where players just decide that they want to spend a little bit less, which is not good for your game. In no way this is good for your game. Beyond that, There is of course the aspect what happens to farming. I'm not sure if you are aware, I had to tell this to some people too, if you go into the C tier section, my personal assumption, and it's hard to prove that, is that 95% of those copies are put on there by farmers. And just by the sheer amount of copies that you can just buy and then see that it's some random name. And thus a lot of this would vanish. Again, less offer, same or similar demand, means rising prices. So again, those could become more expensive. At the same time, we have an opposing view on this, which means if the amount of Starry gems, or the relative amount of Starry gems, let's say 66 Starry gems in this case, if this becomes more expensive because you have to pay more for it, well, then you are less likely to want to spend the same amount of Starry gems for that copy. So probably you would wait. You would wait until this kind of works more into your direction. So if the copy now costs 66 and I double your Starry gem prices, let's say that, then you would really rather want it for half the money. Even if you expect that it's worth right now, you don't want to really spend more for it. So you would probably wait for it and wait for it to fall. And usually there is like a middle ground, because at some point players start buying it again. And from my experience, this is usually a little bit higher than would make sense in that regard. So you could see that those prices might either fall or rise. And the reason why both of which might make sense, and there are arguments to make in both of which, is that DH has touched such a central thing to the bloody DH economics. The Starry Gem gifting is the core tool that we have to actually send Starry Gems around. It is main part of the economy. It is a main part of every single event, because every single player wants to spend contract Starry on the events, and it is a main part of every purchase that is made there. And all of the big whales use it, and everybody that buys Starry Gems use it. It is so essential. It is so in the middle of the economy, and it's linked to so many things. It's like as if the gravity somehow changed outside from one day to another. And suddenly there's half the gravity. That changes the rules of the game. The rules of the game were just changed. We went from now Starry Gems are our currency to Dorito chips are our currency. It is madness. It is an absolute madness. And I would really, really liked to go in this argument and tell you way more about what is going to happen, to say like, hey, it's going to be really, really bad for free to play. It's going to be really, really bad for this. And for some things, there are arguments to be made. And we talked about how it can be bad when you are free to play and get like a copy. Yeah, those are moments that can happen. But really, if you are free to play and you're sitting on your account and you're saying, oh, this is really bad in case I get an SSS copy, I can tell you, likelihood that you get one isn't too big. DH was a little bit greedy on those odds. So in that regard, there you don't have to feel any tension towards this. But if you are somebody that enjoys sometimes going to SG Hub or to some other seller, I don't mind, and buying yourself 20k and just enjoying your time because you have a little bit of extra money on your bank account and you like to spend it on a game. People spend money for different things. I don't judge in any way. Probably better than if you spend it on alcohol or something. So it's one thing. It's a nice hobby. This will probably be more tough or impossible after this update. So this is a harm that we can see right now. There are already whales that say that they are very unhappy about this and they are intending to quit. The major problem that I have with this is when somebody quits, they often do it rather silently. And I want DH to know about this. I mean, it would have been great if DH went ahead and just said, okay, let's just ask the players, let's see what they are going to do. Let's ask them, hey, are you guys fine with us making this change to the game, or do you want us to do it differently? Let's make a survey. You always have surveys on AFK Journey. I never saw one on Idle Heroes. I think a long time ago there was one where they wanted translators for the game and wanted to pay them in diamonds, which is such a DH thing to do. I remember this one now. This was pretty crazy. But this was ages ago. So a very, very difficult thing. They have never done so. The best thing that we can do right now at this very point, if you feel like supporting this cause, if you don't feel like DH should raise those prices, or DH should make this change to the pink Starry, then the best thing that you can do is actually join the Discord. This is something that I've said, not my Discord, actually the Discord of DH Games, the Idle Heroes official Discord, where you can also link your account. The link is in a pinned comment down below, and on this server you go to submit suggestions and you make a suggestion, and the suggestion you make is that they shall revert the update that they made on the 4th of July. This is what I want you to do. This is my proposal. I don't want to go ahead and do some no purchasing or something what other players have already suggested. I think we can just very well go in there. If somebody wants to quit the game or wants to buy no packs anymore or anything, yeah, it's on you, it's cool. If you want to make yourself another nickname in game, you can also do that, of course. But as far as I know, they are looking for feedback. And I think if the suggestions log is sufficiently dominated by us, then this could show at least that we are against it. And DH doesn't have that many players. They aren't one of those big games that can ignore when people show sufficient disdain for their updates. So putting it in there, putting it as a suggestion without any insults. I know people tend to be very emotional about this, but keep the insults out of it. Just write in there that they shall revert the change from the 4th of July, the update from the 4th of July, and that you are very unhappy with it. I think this is the best way to do. I don't even want them to adjust it, if I'm honest. Like, there's no way that this can be appreciated by me in any shape, way, or form. This is no advantage, once again, for any player. I don't see how any minimal change even to this. I think they could adjust the credit rating system, but the credit rating system is there because Starry gems are inherently broken and the refunding is a risk and it can be transferred so quickly. So this has problems in itself. This is a totally another issue. And I told you about like the refund scammers. We don't want those back. We don't want those back. I would rather have the solution to whales that want to start a new account on a new server and want some Starry gems be the black market. I honestly think everybody's happy at this point. Like DH, obviously they want more money. Yes, but you are at a good point. I think for a 9-year-old game where you have already seen and already said years ago that you can't keep up with your competition, that you can't keep up with the content that other mainland games produce, and have such a loving community there of people that want to go ahead, that want to do some PvP, that want to go into new power mechanics, that are hyped when you introduce something like Grimoire, when they see, hey, there are big stats in there, that want to go for the high Flame Shrine hits, for the high Star Expedition hits, that are still happy when you don't release content for a little time. That you can have a game where you can have small content releases and players still appreciate it, where you have content creators that have no contracts and still make content on the game just because they love the game. At that very point, just be happy that those guys are also willing to send 700 USD to you, or in the case of Anniversary, 1000 USD. I think we spent 1200 USD on Anniversary. And don't try to grab more from them in a way that might really make them feel bad about the game. Just doesn't make sense for me. And I think just be happy with that. Listen to the community for once. And like, what annoys me the most, and I have to say this one more time, what annoys me the most about this is they didn't really feel like giving reasons. They listed those changes, which is more than we got in the past, sadly enough. Like Alia at least lists those changes. They still do stealth updates or updates where you don't really know what they did and later find out, but sometimes there are the changes listed, so I appreciate that to an extent. But nonetheless, there are no reasons. They don't say, hey, we want to do this and that. Why? Or for this reason, we want to block black market selling. What does it give the normal player? Nothing. It doesn't help them at all. It doesn't help them at all. The average player likes the black market just because they get things a little bit cheaper. They can do some events without like going into major spending. DH really wants you on this 100 USD Prism Starry Gem drip. They want you here. They want you in not here, in this menu. The menu nobody has ever seen for ages. They want you in here, they want you to click that button and buy yourself 2,500 pink Starry for 100 USD. And they are not happy until you do it. And I feel like this is something nobody really wants. And DH has to finally understand that they won't remove the black market. The black market is at this point so attached to their game that the only way they remove the black market is that they also remove all the spenders. Because I don't know anybody that wants back to the times where this was an option, where buying pink Starry was the good way. And therefore, free-to-play might still be happy, but free-to-play doesn't pay your game. And just free-to-play won't be good enough to sustain. So you kind of have to work with what you got. And what you got are spenders that are happy to spend 700 USD on the game, that are happy to buy even stuff like this. Look, I bought all of this. Isn't it enough? Isn't it enough? Is this not enough, DH Games? Maybe this should be the title for this. Is this not enough? I don't know. So yeah, that's really all from me. Still thinking a lot about this. SG Hub won't sell any more Starry gems until Monday. We have to kind of restructure everything. It is kind of a mess, I'll be honest. I will link you the Discord in the pinned comment down below. I would really appreciate to see a few suggestions from you guys. As I said, no insults, nothing like that. Really, the people that actually read this, which is like Alia and all of the people, they really didn't do us wrong here. They just sent you this message. Other people come up with the ideas. So it doesn't make sense that they have to suffer just because some other person decided that this is a great change. So just write some stuff in there. You don't have to be super kind, obviously. Still a shitty change, let's be honest about it. But just no insults and stuff, and just write that they should change that back, and then we are all cool. And I hope, well, I'm looking forward to seeing your opinion down in the comments. There are a lot of different opinions on this. One thing that I maybe want to state clearly before we get in this video, it does not really help to do assumptions about what they might do. I heard some people say, oh, they might triple the amount of Prism Starry in those packs. And yeah, they might. But again, the info that we have on all of this is this. Nothing more. And it's just that. And there is nothing in there of tripling packs. It is crediting rating system that they want to optimize. Apparently, this is already in the game. I have 6k more, doesn't help me. Yeah, there's a problem. Some people said they have less now, so also not really good. Higher credit rating system won't solve the things that we say. And like assuming they might kind of fix it by doing something in the future. I don't think that is a good way to approach this. We should work with what we have in the game right now, and this update is live right now, so we can look at it and we can come to our own conclusions. And with that, we end this video. Next video up is going to be LFA, still one of the more positive ones, which I really like to do. I like to make positive content. LFA review is the next in our Transcendence Hero series. And yeah, with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.